Welcome to another episode of Old Ass Movie Reviews. Nope, that's not the name. Welcome to another
Nope.
episode of
Wrong.
The Victor the Post, Old Ass Movie Reviews, where we review movies pre
That's
1999
right.
for free 99. I'm one of your hosts, Don Vega.
Yeah. I'm Joe Sonnenblick,
What'd she
and
do
that
this time?
J.K. Rowling can go to hell.
Oh, it's because it's Pride
Nothing. It's
Month
just, I don't
and
like her.
she hates the trans people.
Yeah.
And you are pandering. Got
Hates
it.
them.
Cool. That makes sense. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, we need views.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
We need views.
Well,
this is tough.
happy Pride Month to everybody. We're stepping into it with our first movie. And a little mix up, I guess, happened. Yeah, because all this time,
It did.
I thought. So the movie we're reviewing is Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I think it's The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Now, this whole entire time, I had that movie mixed up with Tu Wong Fu. What's the rest of that? That's a long one too. Tu Wong Fu. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for everything,
Why?
Julie Newmar.
Because they're pretty much very similar premises. I guess there was a discrepancy about it back then. People definitely said that Tu Wong Fu was a ripoff of Queen of the Desert. Queen of the Desert came out in 94, and Tu Wong Fu came out in 95. But allegedly, when Queen of the
Desert, Jennifer Lopez killed Selena.
You're all in the boys. That's a shot. Go check out our Selena episode. It really makes a very funny. That was her father.
Yeah, it was very funny.
So, like, they said that Tu Wong Fu was already in production by the time Queen of the Desert came out.
Yeah, I mean, it's really. I've seen Tu Wong Fu years ago.
It's like
very.
What are the odds?
Very
that
similar.
Two road trip movies about 3 drag queens. Well, Priscilla had 2 drag queens and a trans woman, and then Tu Wong Fu had 3 drag queens. But what are the odds that both movies? I mean, it's not like it's like fucking, when they had a shit ton of Peter Pan movies come out at the same time last year or the year before. There was like 5 of them. You know what I mean? That came out
at
the same.
That's the same
no, not
thing
Peter
at
Pan,
all.
Pinocchio. But where it's like, all right, that's an IP, that's a public domain thing. I could see how everybody would jump on it.
Is Pinocchio weird? It's weird that this old guy, wants to make a real boy, isn't it?
No, he was
weird,
sad, man. Come on,
little priest-like.
The original story is extremely dark, extremely fucked up and dark.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio was fire.
Little premise too.
Fire, son.
Fire. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
But I like anything Guillermo touches. Anywho, I didn't hate it.
Nightmare Alley was not good.
A lot of people did not hate it, man.
It was not good. Bradley Cooper. What a stain. What a stain he is. He's a stain. Cool. He's a shit stain.
So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so similar stories.
Makes shit
road trip,
movies.
3 drag queens, problems ensue, problems resolved. No, like, the second act is completely different. Completely different. And the carrot on the end of the stick is completely different.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Again, I haven't seen Tu Wong Fu in such a long time.
Going on an adventure, run into hillbillies, as it were. And then that's pretty much where it ends. I would give it
that's like
82%. Maybe
wow, that's
70 something. Yeah, it's about 75.
That's a ripoff. One thing,
Yes,
so
I saw both yesterday.
we'll talk about both movies. Seeing as
I've
yeah,
also
I only
seen
watched
the play when
The
it came out in
Adventures of Priscilla, Queen
2011.
of the
I saw it
Desert.
with my mom. Musical, whatever, dude. They were on the stage.
The musical.
Play, it's the same thing.
Okay. You ever watch people
Isn't
fuck
it,
on the
though?
stage? It's not a play. All right.
Everybody had parts.
Nobody was singing while they were fucking in my show. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to like crisscross, or do you want to like? No.
There was ping pong balls involved at that show. How do we want to do it? Crisscross? Yeah, let's crisscross. Let's compare contrast. We don't, because the Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, it's not, it's not a lot going on. You don't really have to dive super deep into it. I don't know.
I think the Adventure of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert really could be a play with even without music. Like it's so dialogue heavy. And look, you've got three great actors here. You've got Guy Pearce, Hugo Weaving, and Terrence Stamp.
Looking at this bitch. I didn't look at anything. I didn't look at IMDb before I watched it. And I just looked at it, searched for it. It was on Amazon, I believe. No, Peacock. Yeah, it was on Peacock. And I just hit play.
I watched it on Peacock. Yeah. One thing I will say that took me totally by surprise is how jacked Guy Pearce is.
He's always been jacked.
Like,
yeah.
But this is different. It's almost like you can't believe he got roughed up by a couple of those Australian hillbillies. Like, yeah, I mean, he played a very annoying femboy, I guess you would say. He played a very he played John Leguizamo in The Pest.
He was
sort of
annoying, his character,
but not disproportionately bad, though. Not bad at all. None of these actors who are just so good. Terrence Stamp,
is that the main character?
Have you ever seen The Limey?
Older guy. Trans woman?
No, Terrence Stamp
I've
was
seen him in a ton of
trans.
things, but no, I don't. The Limey doesn't ring a bell.
The Limey, brother.
Once I saw him, I was like, "Oh, this is a movie." This is. No,
well, I mean,
you don't
also forget how good Hugo Weaving is.
Lord of the Rings.
Since it, no,
yeah.
He was in V for Vendetta too. I think he was V. V for Vendetta's fine. No, Lord of the Rings. I don't care for him in or for. I think I only saw the first one, and I said I don't even give a fuck with these little fucking. Just ride a horse. Just get on a horse and ride it. You little bastards. I didn't give a fuck with these little motherfuckers. I don't care about your toe ring. I see bitches in Howard Beach with little toe rings on. They're the Lord of the Rings, all right? You know what I'm saying?
Just in footed. Howard Beach.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah, now that's a movie. If you're trying to put a toe ring on an old Italian woman, yeah. Now there you go. Starring Benny over there. That's his name. Yeah, they're off now. We can't go back. I mean, you probably could. What were you drinking, by the way? Was that a smoothie? I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was a protein shake.
It's vanilla and cinnamon.
What was in it? I got to know.
And water.
That's a milkshake.
And
describe the milkshake.
It's very basic.
Yeah. You had a milkshake. All right. So this was directed by Stephen Elliott, who I know from other things. He directed Eye of the Beholder, which is a terrible, terrible movie. And he directed Hold on, I lost the page here. He directed Easy Virtue, which I'm pretty sure I saw. Now, did you ever see Muriel's Wedding? Do you know about Muriel's Wedding? It's another Australian LGBTQ film. Everybody said that was really good. I think it's my thing with this film. Well, do you want to talk about 1994? I don't think we've done a 94 now.
Yeah, we're not.
To Wong Fu was 95. We've done like 395s now.
We're done 95.
Yeah, 94 is where it's at, baby.
If this landed anywhere, because was this released in America or? I would think. Oh, here it goes. Yeah, it landed at 112.
I would think so.
In 94, it made $11,220,670.
And where did To Wong Fu land?
95. Yeah. The big.
Oh, it's 95. 95. Sorry. Okay, so 94. Give me the top 25. Give me 25.
Ooh, Mother's Boys. Miramax film.
Mother's Boys.
Starring. It looks like.
Let's see.
What's her name? White lady. Jamie.
We've got Jamie Lee Curtis, Peter Gallagher.
Boys, Jude Madigan abandons her husband, Robert, and her 3 sons without any explanation. 3 years later, Jude inexplicably returns to reunite her family. However, Robert and his new lover, Callie, see Jude for the true psychopath she is and try their best to protect their sons. Jude embarks on a nonstop stalking and harassment campaign against the family and even seduces her eldest son, Kes, into committing her acts of violence. It sounds pretty fucking.
This doesn't sound too bad. This doesn't sound.
It's very original.
This sounds like an original idea somebody had. The director's Yves Simoneau, and he directed
Paint Me Intrigued.
Let's see what he directed.
I would put this in our bottom of the list
I would definitely see
thing.
That. But no, it's got to be worse movies though.
Right,
bottom of the list is not. No, I think it's got to be like really bad movies.
Doesn't have any like.
What else did this guy do? He did a lot of TV movies. He did a couple of episodes of the show V, which was based on V for Vendetta, which was canceled after 1 season. He hasn't really done a ton.
Let's run through the top 10 here.
Yeah, 94.
Top 20 here.
Yeah, make it 20. Make it 20.
All right. Give me a second to think.
What do you got?
There we go. All right. Number 20, we have Grumpy Old Men.
See, that's a good one. Because 95 was Grumpier Old Men, and that wasn't as good.
I watched them over and over.
I think there's only 2.
Number 19, Pulp Fiction. Number 18, Wolf.
Whatever.
Yeah. Number 17, Star Trek.
With Nicholson?
Generations.
It's okay.
Number 16, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
I didn't see it. We've talked about what Ace Ventura is probably going to do to us if we watch it again.
Number 15, Stargate. That had an interesting premise. It was interesting. 14, Philadelphia.
I didn't see Stargate. You don't want to see this because Tom Hanks is the white AIDS man and Denzel Washington is the lawyer who is out for money at first and then fame and all that.
It's like
but
a big deal.
It's fine. It's a fine movie.
Number 13, The Client.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have done this. We have done this year before because I remember this list.
The Client.
Yeah. Number 12, Schindler's List.
I don't remember The Client.
Yeah, because we definitely spoke about Schindler's List.
Oh, okay.
Unless it was something that carried over in 95. Because this one came out in December, so it's possible it was brought up in 95. Number 11, Maverick. Number
Oh, that's Mel Gibson.
That's correct. Yep. It seems
never
dumb.
saw it.
And number 10, Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Chronicles.
You know, we really could do that for LGBTQ month because it is a very queer movie. Like, it's very queer-centric.
Number 9,
and it's
Mrs.
good.
Doubtfire. Number 8, The Mask.
Okay.
Speaking of Mrs. Doubtfire,
okay.
Robin Williams was also in To Wong Fu. He played a small role. He was actually supposed to play the main character's Patrick Swayze's role, but he opted out. He said, "Yeah, I'm too hairy, and I'm not gonna wax because that seems like a lot of work." He was like, "I don't think this is for me. Please give us money, but please hit me up and put me in it. I'll do something. I really want to be there because it sounds like a dope movie." But he's like, "I'm hairy as fuck, dude. This ain't gonna work. It's gonna throw everything off." Yeah, like, so he played
and he said, "I'll just
a role where he's the one that hooked him up with the car that they.
It's a joke.
What?
You walked over the joke. And he's just hanging around because he hung himself.
Number 8, The Mask. Come on, man. I didn't know how he did himself. I never knew that. I didn't even know that. Number 7, Speed.
Pretty good.
Everything
Speed.
after that, like Speed. Really?
Man, it's so bad. Well, Dennis Hopper is so good.
Number 6,
that
fucking movie. A lot of people want him to make another Speed. Keanu. People are like begging for it.
Yeah, well, people got nothing better to do with their time than beg for another Speed movie. Train.
But they literally did that with Denzel Washington. They did that movie, Speed, with Denzel Washington. Remember that? I forget what it was called. It was a runaway train. I think it was based on a true story, actually. No, no, different.
The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
This was based on a true story, and where there was a train that was on a runaway train, and it had like a ton of explosive shit on it, and it blew up in some town or something like that. It derailed. There you go.
Roman J. Israel Esquire.
6, Clear and Present Danger. Number 5.
That's fine.
You want to do a guess for the top 5? Is that one?
Yeah, 5 is too many. 5 is too many.
Yeah,
I struggle to get 3 last time.
Let's see if you get this one, and then if you don't get this one, we'll just stop. Number 5 is a old IP from the 1960s, intellectual property, based on a cartoon.
I know.
Starring It is. That's number 5.
Is it the Flintstones?
Number 4 is a public domain character. And it is starring a TV star from the 90s of a show. I'm sure, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you hated it. Yeah.
A public domain character.
Based on, it was produced by Walt Disney Studios, motion pictures, live action, a lot of CGI.
Okay. With a public domain, but I don't even know. I mean, like,
this is probably another.
How many public domain characters?
It came out November 11th. Public domain character, Walt Disney Studios. There you go. Number 3.
Oh, the Santa Claus.
Nah, that was good. That was good stuff. The first one,
Which is not bad. Not
number
good, not
3.
good, but it's not bad. It's fine. It's fine. Did you imply that I hate Santa Claus?
No,
I love Santa Claus.
I imply that you might hate
not the
Home
Santa
Improvement,
Claus, but it went on too long.
Right.
But the
Yeah, it was
first
tight.
like 4 or 5 seasons of Home Improvement they're very funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it went on way too
now
long.
let's
11
see here.
seasons that show.
Number 3 is a movie based on. This is a little too easy. The title is an oxymoron. The theme of the movie is an oxymoron. Distributed, that's not an oxymoron. Distributed
Dumb and
by
Dumber.
20th Century Fox.
I know, but
Starring an actor who is the lead of a franchise also
God,
that went through in the 90s but started in the late 80s, I believe. Action star. This is an action movie.
horrible clues.
It is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Lies. Number 2.
True Lies.
You brought him up earlier. Leading actor, Paramount Pictures. It's a no.
Brought him up earlier.
It's also a
Tommy Cruise
movie that some people say was somewhat based on true events, but the main character was definitely a made-up character.
Gotta give me more than that. I don't know. That's who directed it? How do you know?
How do you find?
You just gotta press the movie and then click it.
You bitch! Come on, don't be a bitch.
Come on.
Directed by.
Come on.
Robert Zemeckis.
(1994). Robert Zemeckis. It's not because Back to the Future was done by that time. What the fuck did Robert Zemeckis direct in 1994? Amistad? What did he direct in 1994? Steven Spielberg did Amistad, I think. What the fuck did Get Shorty? No.
It's a movie that takes place.
I don't know. I don't have that answer.
From the 1950s to the 70s. Yeah. See.
Oh, Forrest Gump.
It was number 2 that year.
Sucks.
And what would you guess was the number 1 movie of 1994? Wrong. What? Why? No.
Dumb and Dumber? Because it came out in 1994?
No, it's not superhero shit.
Is it
Dumb and Dumber was 22.
Shit?
Has some drama.
Is it a drama?
It wouldn't be a genre of drama, though. No.
So it's a comedy.
What do they classify it as? They classify it as... It has Shakespearean qualities.
Is it Shakespeare in Love?
It is definitely based on Shakespeare.
It has...
Yeah.
It's definitely based on Shakespeare.
It's not Shakespeare. It's based on Shakespeare.
So it's Shakespeare.
No.
It's not Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah.
If it's based on Shakespeare.
All right. Well, there's a bunch of movies that means. Are based on Shakespeare, aren't there? Where like this is right, but it's not.
But it's not Shakespeare.
It's not. Like what the fuck?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I can tell you it came out in June 1994.
I don't know.
It's a summer blockbuster.
It's a summer blockbuster. In 1994, based on Shakespeare. It's not Romeo plus Juliet, because that was 96 or 97. 94, based on Shakespeare, summer blockbuster. Who directed it? Is that going to give it away?
I don't even know who the fuck directed it. I don't think I've ever known. Director Roger Allers, Rob Minkoff. I
have no earthly idea.
One of the
I have no. You gotta give me the main actor. I'm probably
give you one of the main actors. I don't think you'll get it at all. Actually, funny enough, I'll give you two main actors, and this it either might give it to you right away or it might throw you off. It's going to be one of them is going to be Matthew Broderick, and the other one is going to be Jim Cummings. No, sorry, not Jim Cummings. Oh, actually, yeah, that is one of them. That's weird. I'm going to have to look up why that is. Matthew Broderick, and the other one is Jeremy Irons.
Broderick.
Those are your two. Matthew Broderick, Jeremy Irons.
Matthew Broderick.
Nathan Lane is also in this
brother. Brother.
The Lion King.
The Lion King.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's Shakespearean.
I did too, until I just looked at it.
I forgot Matthew Broderick was in that.
Yeah, he's scarred. I knew that was going to give it away, but I was like, anybody else? I think anybody else still would have like James Earl Jones would have.
I don't give a fuck. You know, it's funny.
The only one I could have got away with was Rowan Atkinson. That might have given away.
I love.
Anywho,
yeah, I would have said
that was
Mr. Bean.
That was cool. You did pretty good, actually.
We did it
pretty good for the first 4.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the 90s really are. 90s and 70s really is my honey hole.
Why would you say that?
For knowing film?
Let's do a very small bit of 94 history. I found a website that really
go ahead.
Makes it nice and tight. Better than that last website. Yeah, this one works good. Okay. So in world events, we had Serbs heavy weapons pound Sarajevo, January. Thousands dead in Rwanda massacre, April. Whatever. South Africa holds first interracial national election. Mm-hmm. Nelson Mandela elected president. Israel signs accord with Palestinians, with Palestinians peace treaty with Jordan. IRA declares ceasefire in Northern Ireland. Ulster Protestants declare ceasefire. Aristide returns to Haiti, forms government with prime minister and full cabinet. U.S. sends forces to Persian Gulf. Russian attack secessionist Republic of Chechnya. That was a nice, succinct list of the year. Yeah, great.
Wow. Sounds like a lot of attacking.
Events. Olympic figure skating Nancy Kerrigan attacked 3 years.
Why?
Aldrich Ames, high CA official charged with spying for Soviets. 4 convicted in World Trade Center bombing, March 4th.
God.
Clinton accused of sexual harassment while governor of Arkansas.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson arrested in killings of wife Nicole Brown Simpson and friend Ronald Goldman.
What murder?
U.S. Supreme Court approves limit on Senate confirms Stephen G. Breyer for Supreme Court. Major League Baseball players strike. Newt Gingrich named House Speaker. I remember him. That's Speaker. My grandfather loved the news, so I see him on TV all the time. What else? Median household income was $32,264. Yeah, so people were doing the thing. Who won the Super Bowl? 94.
Yeah. 94 is the Dallas Cowboys were 92 and 93, I think. So the 94.
Wrong. Dallas defeated Buffalo.
Would that be the San Francisco 49ers?
Dallas defeated Buffalo.
Oh, was Dallas 94? Yeah, because I remember that's the year Scott Norwood missed like another one of those kicks. But in 94, I was in kindergarten in Williamsburg, and they, you didn't do anything in kindergarten. Nobody ever learned anything. So they're like, hey, make a pennant of who you want to win the Super Bowl. And I remember I didn't want to draw a buffalo because that was very hard. So I just drew a star. And I hate both the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys.
World Series.
94. Well, Yankees hadn't started up yet. Would that be?
It was no World Series. It wasn't held.
The Braves
strike,
won.
You dummy. You just said that. Trick question. NBA championship. You big dummy. Yeah, defeated New York Knicks.
Houston Rockets.
Stanley Cup defeated Vancouver.
Rangers.
Wimbledon.
I remember watching that with my dad.
Nope. Spanish defeated Russian. Conchita Martinez defeats M. Navratilova. For the men, Pete Sampras defeated G. Ivanisevic.
Wow.
Kentucky Derby, 94.
What?
Gopher Gin.
94, was that Mind That Bird?
NCAA basketball championship.
Gin. Mind That Bird was 95.
Arkansas defeated NCAA football championship. Nebraska World Cup.
Another college.
Brazil defeated Italy.
94 was Italy.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But no. Italy won in 90. Brazil won in 94. Brazil won again in 98. 2002, I think, was France. 2006 was Italy.
This is a cool. So the name of this website is infoplease.com. This is very succinct, gives cool facts. Here's some entertainment facts of 94. Kurt Cobain kills himself. He was 27. 95 million viewers watch O.J. Simpson and Al Cowlings drive along Los Angeles freeways in history's most exciting low-speed chase. Steven Spielberg wins his first directing Oscar for Schindler's List. For the first time in history, chain bookstores outsell independent bookstores, signaling what many fear to be the death of smaller books in the hands of.
Well, guess what? Yeah,
full circle now. All the independent bookstores are all the rage.
There is nothing but independent bookstores, and
Tom Hanks wins his second consecutive Best Actor Oscar. He won in 93 for his role in Philadelphia and 94 for Forrest Gump. ER and Friends debut on NBC, establishing NBC's dominance of the Thursday night lineup.
ER is one of the greatest shows of all time.
The original weekend-long concert. Green Day and Nine Inch Nails joined Bob Dylan and the Allman Brothers.
Nothing says music like bad music.
Movies, Forrest Gump, blah, 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 blah. Books. James Kelman, How Late It Was, How Late. Carol Shields, The Stone Diaries. Did you read that? Okay. Science.
No.
White House launches webpage. Dr. Ned, first U.S. First clones calves from cells of early embryos. Cool.
It's terrible.
The FDA approves Flavor Saver tomato, the first genetically engineered food product. What the fuck is that?
I call my balls.
It's dumb, yo. Album of the year, The Bodyguard, original soundtrack album, Whitney Houston. Song of the year, A Whole New World, theme from Aladdin. Nobel Prize for Literature, Kenzaburo Oe, Japan. Record of the year, I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston. Whitney. Pulitzer Prizes, fiction, The Shipping News.
Shipping News is a good book.
Academy Award, Best Picture, Schindler's List. We heard that already. Yada yada. Who died? Richard Nixon died.
Yeah. All right.
Cab Calloway died.
Oh, thank God.
Burt Lancaster.
I like Cab.
Jessica Tandy.
One of the greatest actors ever. Doesn't get enough credit.
Tip O'Neill.
She's fine.
Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Yeah. John Candy.
Little honey.
Didn't care for John Candy?
I was not a candy man.
John Candy.
Candyman. I know you did.
I don't think so.
You've said this many times. You have. Throughout every time a John Candy movie is brought up, you've professed your love for John Candy. I understand. It is your month.
Yeah, and with that being said, we're going to get into Priscilla, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. This is actually a nice little segue movie that we did. As we know, we had kind of a shorter month last month with our stage to screen. Now, This one is screen to stage. It's actually in reverse. The movie came out first, and then it became a stage play afterwards. Music.
Yeah, but the reason why we did it is because of LGBTQ. It's not a reverse. Nobody planned that.
I'm saying it's still an in-betweener where it's
not really an in-betweener. It's not really an in-betweener.
Yeah, you're a ruiner.
Not even what I would call an in-betweener, really. All right, so I'll give you a little synopsis here. When drag queen Anthony agrees to take his act on the road, he invites fellow crossdresser Adam, who's played by Guy Pearce, transsexual Bernadette, to come along in their colorful bus named Priscilla. The three performers travel across the Australian desert performing for enthusiastic crowds and homophobic locals. When the other two performers learn the truth about why Anthony took the job, it threatens their act and their friendship. It really doesn't. This is a terrible synopsis, IMDb. It doesn't. They actually support him in wanting to be. The reveal is that he has a kid.
The reveal is that he has a kid.
Yeah. And it's not really a big reveal, and it's. I thought the reveal was actually the worst part of the whole movie, personally. Whereas I'm not gonna. I didn't really write notes on this one because I'm tired. I don't want to write notes. Leave me alone. Yeah, I'm being lazy. I reserve the right to be lazy. I mean, we've done 37 episodes, and I've carried it for like 31 of them. So I'm gonna take a little nappy time.
The white man.
Yeah, well,
I gotta carry something.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you. Hey,
yeah.
You are a heavy backpack. I just want to tell you, you're a heavy backpack. So the premise is these three essentially take a job in the middle of Australia. I think they're all from Sydney, or they're all in Sydney, and it becomes a road movie in like 45 seconds, which I love. I love it because you're not building up to the road movie. You're not building up to trepidation. We're going, and Terrence Stamp is the older transsexual, but also the weathered performer of the group. Guy Pearce is the young, annoying, modern gay, I guess, of the group, and Hugo Weaving is the realist, the pessimist, the most, I guess, world weary of the group. And Hugo Weaving also has the ulterior motive, which is he's has a wife and he's married, has a kid. Now, the acting in this is phenomenal. Absolutely. From start to finish. Every character is played with such nuance, such gravitas, and with it doesn't feel like put on in any sort of way. It's just three actors giving you what I would describe as a masterclass in simplicity. Even when emotion takes hold for some of these actors, like when Terrence Stamp essentially realizes that she's in love with Bob in the Australian outback, who came to their aid and who had like a mail order wife, that was one of the wildest scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. Shooting ping pong balls out of her ass.
I've seen it in real life.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Not out of her ass. I can tell you, look, with absolute certainty, those were not shot out of her ass.
I don't want to hear about Sunday night in the pink houses, Don. I don't want to hear about it. Coney Island's wild. The Himalaya. And now I lost my whole train of thought thinking about the Himalaya. Terrence Stamp played this. You're fucked up. You fucked me up.
Terry.
Got me thinking about the Himalaya. Oh no! Oh, Terry! Oh
no! Well, I've never got stuck on it, but there's been times where this shit just wouldn't stop, and the shit went haywire, and they had to get mechanic, and it just wouldn't stop. That was on the news many a time. I can't believe that thing is still there.
It is amazing that it is the same exact ride. They have not fixed it, painted it. They've only made the speaker louder.
The only way to save you from the shit when it keeps going and won't stop is to pull the plug. That's it. That's the only thing they can do.
And you knew summer was popping at Coney Island when the Himalaya was going, and all you heard was, "Motherfuckers want to fuck my wife, take my life, because it's so hard." You heard that, and you were like, "Oh, it's summer. Let me get to the batting cages over there."
For sure.
Because I'm not going on the Himalaya, because I might die. Like, I might. And it was like $1. It was like $1 to get on the Himalaya. And they didn't even give you a ticket. They just handed a guy $1. Yeah. And he was the guy. He took the dollars and then, set the ride up for you. And then there were times where, Hate Me Now was playing, and you were wondering why.
That beats hard when it's loud.
Why was Hate Me Now
playing? Much like this movie where we had Guy Pearce constantly singing songs at a very high volume through the road trip. He was probably, did his thing, played his character, but the most annoying character for sure, which was intentional. It wasn't like.
Yeah. And he did it. He didn't do it where I was like, I don't like this character.
So, I was like, oh, wow. The flashback when he was talking about his childhood.
When he gets beat up?
Like, what the fuck is going on here?
What?
Because I thought they were going to go up to a certain point, and then he went beyond that point. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And the point was actually kind of funny towards the end because he's laughing about it, and he got
laughing about it.
I guess revenge. Yeah, and there wasn't revenge because nothing happened. I mean, his uncle was trying to get him to jerk him off as a kid in the bathtub, and he pulled the suction cup out of the bathtub, and his uncle's balls jumped into the. And I mean,
That
it's
shit,
funny, but it's also really fucked up.
Because it was, you guys who watched this movie, we're definitely going to recommend it right off the bat. I am. But the scene where he's telling a flashback about, what happened to him as a kid. So, like you said, the uncle calls him into the bathroom and, doing the creepy shit. Don't tell your parents, yada, yada, put your hand down. So you think it's going to go to a certain point, and I'm thinking it's going to be a dramatic scene, and then like revealing why he acts the way he acts or some shit like that, right? But they show the kid putting his hand in the fucking tub, and then he pulls the cork, and it's like, oh my God, my fucking heart dropped, man. I was like, oh no.
Well, I think why Guy Pearce acts the way he acts in this film has nothing to do with that. And it's amazing. It's that he's rich and his mother spoiled him, and he needs a party all the time. He needs to feel like he's partying all the time, which is why towards the end he almost gets beat up by that homophobe. But luckily, Bob steps in because he knows the homophobe, and the homophobe knows that Bob now knows Guy Pearce's character. But Bob stands up, and it's a lot of poignant moments in this film. And I think the most poignant is when Bob and Barbara, Bernadette, I'm sorry, Bob and Bernadette fall in love. I think that is a very poignant moment. And I think it's an important moment because I don't remember one. Again, Terrence Stamp really played this close to the chest.
He played it reserved but not stuck up, the character. So the character knew who they were, how they presented themselves, is weathered in the sense where they know that they're going to have to deal with bullshit, and they know how to handle bullshit, i.e. those hillbillies, and, she need them.
Oh, we got to pause.
What do you got? Some Uber up there?
Yeah, sorry.
Work shouldn't be calling you after work.
Hold on. All right. Work is calling me. I know. I'm aware. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna.
I wish I could do better.
Yeah. So. Where were we? Sorry. Where were we? We're talking about the movie, and it's I'm just gonna say.
I didn't hit record yet.
I don't.
Oh,
I did. I don't remember.
You bastard.
Yeah, I don't remember a movie from the early to mid 90s being so genuine with its LGBTQ characters and taking the time
with its
LGBTQ characters.
You think? So now to do some parallels, because now at this point we've gotten up in a story where we know the reasoning for hitting the road, right? A guy, at least the secret reasoning, and then he eventually does the reveal. But they are on the road. Now, in To Wong Fu, the reasoning for them hitting the road is the characters of Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes, I forget their names, Noxzema, and I forget, I think Miss Vita is Patrick Swayze's character. Yeah, Noxzema. I thought that was super weird, but that was her name. Yeah.
Wasn't Noxzema a skin?
It is, I think. So like this. So they both won a drag show in New York City. The opening scenes for To Wong Fu were beautiful. Like that old vintage New York City of the 90s, to see that shit was fucking dope. To see the old Webster Hall was dope. I enjoyed the fuck out of that. And so what happens is they both win a contest to get flew out to California for a big drag ball. They feel bad for John Leguizamo's character. I forget her name. And they decide to, instead of taking the all-inclusive airfare, that they're going to go check out Robin Williams, who played a role in this movie. as I said earlier,
Right.
he was supposed to be the main character, but he thought he was too hairy, so he was like, "It's not for me." Because we know he knows how to play a gay character. He did it in The Producers, you know. Yeah,
Robin Williams,
Birdcage. Sorry, yeah, Birdcage,
the
not The
Birdcage.
Producers.
You meant?
Because I was thinking of Nathan Lane. That's why Birdcage.
Yeah.
Well,
Nathan Lane is gay.
Really? You don't say. Jesus Christ.
What? Okay.
So, is Elton John? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Is Elton John also? Fucking genius. So now, yeah, they decide to trade in the tickets to rent a car, drop top, and drive across country. The three of them. And but there was no secret agenda for the main character like there was for Hugo's character. It was they're trying to train this young up and coming drag queen to be a better drag queen, and comedy ensues.
Yeah, but you know what though, like I think, and I haven't seen Tu Wong Fu in quite a long time, but I remember it being campy in a way that bordered on
it
caricatures.
Riding a very fine line, I think, of caricatures. But I don't think they did any disrespect to. I mean, I'm not of the community, so I can only speak from a outside point of view. But I didn't see any disrespect in their acting of that world and of that community. And also the opening scene had a shit ton of actual drag queens and the drag ball and like the dancers. Like there's a lot of representation in the actual
That's
film.
one thing. I think that's one thing about Priscilla, Queen of the Desert that was sort of missing.
Right.
I mean, well, you could also say that the Aborigines. Well, I don't know if that Aborigines cat is actually a gay man in real life. But I guess that is. But like, then there's a weird moment that was borderline racist in Adventures Priscilla, where they think about bringing the Aborigines on because he's an Aborigines and not because he's of the community. But then they decide against it, and I think it's because maybe he's not of the community. You know? I think there were lines, though, that imply that the Aborigines guy is gay. Where he's like, oh, it's good a time as any for it tonight, or, when he walks up, he's sort of got a feminine gait to him, the way he walks
just when you first meet him? I don't know if I met.
Yeah. There was a feminine gait. Yeah. I don't know. It felt. That's the only part I was like, this guy's a little heavy-handed.
And I would have to do
not necessarily the only part, or not necessarily heavy-handed.
I would have to do some further research, but I feel like on the back of my mind, the Aborigines are one of those cultures that also believed in two-spirited people. They didn't have, if I remember correctly, they're one of those cultures that don't really have hang-ups about feminine men or masculine women. Much like a lot of Native American cultures have two-spirit individuals. They believe there's a culture in Mexico where like there's a whole group of men who are presented as women or as non-binary. It's part of the culture and they're celebrated. Right. So I feel like the Aborigines might be one of those cultures that are like that. They embrace two-spirit people. So
sure,
it might have been that. They might have been throwing a little bit of that in there, like nobody seemed to be. I think they were more thrown off at 3 random white people in the desert rather than 3 drag queens in the desert.
Yeah,
I mean that still would throw you off. It's still kind of random.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. The only parts of the movie that I felt maybe meandered a little bit is them going to like 4 towns and meeting all these homophobes. It meandered a little bit and didn't, it didn't unlock anymore. It unlocked Bob, which was good. But then after and before that, like when that weird couple with the dead kangaroo is taking Terrence Stamp back to the bus, I don't know that you needed them at all. I mean, you needed them to further the story, I guess. But
they still were stuck in the desert.
I don't
know. That's pretty much all that.
Until they found until the Aborigine found them a couple hours later. Yeah, but I mean, would Terrence Stamp have made it back to the bus?
The director was looking for any excuse or reasoning to keep them in the desert so they can get more of those beautiful desert shots. We needed a reason to get more widescape. We needed a reason to get more wide.
And even the animals in the desert, those beautiful animal shots were so unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That, instead of doing any meandering, I would say the two Wong Fu characters ran into a total of, let's say, and I'm going to count the town as a character, but a total of 3 extra characters. The first stop they went to was Miss Vita's mom, his hometown. They drove up to the driveway, and his mom looked at him from afar and, turned her head into shame, out of shame, and closed the door behind him. No, that was
Wesley
Patrick
Snipes'
Swayze's
mom.
Yeah. And so they drove off, and this is when they just drove without a map because Vita decided to rip up the map. I don't understand the logic in that, but that's what they decided to do. Yeah, some shit.
Because you're free, I guess. Yeah. Not bound by where you're going.
If you're going to be a drag queen, John Leguizamo's character, you got to learn instinct. Then they run into the cop. That guy is always pretty funny. You remember who the cop was from Tu Wong Fu?
I don't.
His name is Chris Penn as Sheriff Dollard.
Oh, it's Sean Penn's brother who died of coke.
He did a good job. He was funny. He was pretty funny and comfortable. He made people uncomfortable. So he was a good bad guy, a good antagonist.
Yeah.
And then the third story is when they get to the middle of nowhere town. They're staying at the house with the couple, the lady being abused. Then Wesley Snipes cozies up to the eldest in the town who doesn't speak about anything, but then just starts talking to her. John Leguizamo gets a crush on one of the young men in the town. There's also a group of young boys that is kind of like the parallel to the group of hillbillies in Australia that, rough them up and stuff like that. And instead of it being Bob, it's the young Bobby Lee or Bobby Ray or whatever that is the love interest of John Leguizamo that sticks up for them. And again, they do the whole they did the queer eye for the straight guy thing to the town, and it was cute or whatever. So less meandering, and less beauty shots. It was supposed to be the Midwest, I'm assuming. They had some nice beauty shots, but nothing like the Australian desert, obviously.
I think also another thing I didn't love was why I know drag performers don't sing their own songs generally, old school, old style drag before it's lip synced. And I guess that took me out of it a little bit, but then you have to think about the context of it. Did in Tu Wong Fu, did they lip sync?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Then I won't take points off for that.
You ever went to any of the drag bars in the over on Christopher?
Not on Christopher. I went to one uptown. Don't tell Mama.
I don't think I've ever been to that.
Don't tell Mommy. Yeah. It's a piano bar, but they had a really good drag night. years and years ago when I was dating homegirl from back in the day. And it was really good. No, it was really,
that was the
really
first
good.
queer establishment I ever hung out with was that drag bar down on Christopher, over there in the Greenwich Village, and that was because one of my oldest friends, Jermaine from high school, is this gay brother, and he always hung out with us, our crew, and went to all the regular straight bars, I guess, if you want to call it, regular or whatever. And one day he was like, "Hey, why don't y'all come with me to this drag bar?" And we obviously were not. We still said things we shouldn't have said at that age of the early 20s, late teenagers, but we weren't homophobic. We just, were ignorant. And we was like, I mean, fine, I guess that makes sense. He's like, I'm always going to every straight bar you guys go to. You can come to at least one gay bar. And I was like, you know what, you got a good point. Had a fucking blast. That fucking drag bar was very nice. They were very nice people. Treated us like gold. Heavy on the drinks.
Yeah.
Had a good pour. Good fucking time. I think I went there like maybe 2 or 3 times after that.
It's the only time I ever drank Bellinis after like 11 o'clock in the morning. I must have drank fucking like 14 Bellinis, bro. I was shit-faced. That's
the beautiful thing about Nicky makes really good Bellinis. That's the beautiful thing about this city, especially if you don't have any bullshit hang-ups. You can have a fucking blast in so many goddamn places as long as you're not a piece of shit. Man, you'd be surprised. Anyway, moving on. We get to Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And they fuck with the hillbillies and
yeah, and I mean the hillbilly beat up scene isn't like great. I would say I think Guy Pearce's character wants to go out, so he does some coke.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that was the start of it.
Gets roughed up by these desert dwelling drinkers, I guess is what you do out in Eastern Australia. You drink in the desert. And then Bob sticks up for Guy Pearce's character, and Hugo Weaving and Terrence Stamp also show up, and it was a weaker scene in my opinion, but didn't take away from the movie. It didn't. I think what takes away from the movie is the very, very, very end. I think it dragged, no pun intended, a little too long. I think.
I feel like you wrote the line down.
Okay. I didn't. And I also think that I don't give a fuck about your kid, bro. I really don't give a fuck about your little ass kid who can't act, who can't do anything, just standing there. And the very end drag number went way too goddamn long. Way too goddamn, like, bro, just put a cut. Just cut it. I was saying it. Cut it.
I Will Survive was the last drag number.
Yeah. Way too long. Almost the whole song.
It was a whole song. And then
it went into another song, didn't it?
Explosion.
I stopped after. So I stopped after I Will Survive. I just turned it off.
With the hillbillies with Beatrice, right? Beatrice's character was to further that character. I don't think it needed any more furthering. I think we kind of got the gist that they knew what they were doing and they were not to be fucked with. I think that permeated off of their being and off of that character's being. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just felt like showy. That line, now you're fucked. That line felt showy. It all felt a little showy.
You could have did the same scene, but it would have had a little bit more punch to it. Like 2 knees to the balls. Yeah, you did. You made your point, I guess. But I think a thorough ass kicking scene would have been a little bit more dope. Like fisticuffs would have been tight.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, or 2-piece instead of just 2 knees.
Yeah.
I think that would have been tight. Same scene, but just a different type of action. The part where they finally get to meet his wife, his beard and her beard. That's what. Well, they each other's beard. She's supposed to be a lesbian herself.
No, but
I
she
think I think that's
sucks.
why her
It's an actress.
screen time was so small. I think that's pretty obvious.
Ugh.
Yeah, so we find out that they're each other's beers. They're just best friends and stuff that decided to marry for financial
Have a
reasons,
kid.
insurance reasons, I'm sure, and had a kid. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's obvious that the kid is very aware who his father is. It's so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
At least it wasn't something where it's like except for the homophobic hillbilly parts, every part where you thought there was going to be some added drama, and they kind of just snatched the rug out from him. It was like, no, not really. This is fine. Like when he reveals that he
Yeah.
lied the
Yeah.
first time that he's married, they were like, oh, that's crazy. Why wouldn't you tell us? Oh, okay, it's fine, no problem. Then they find out once they get there that he has a kid. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna pass out and faint, but oh, I guess it's fine. That's cool. You know,
Yeah, the stakes weren't very high for Hugo Weaving.
except for the
The
hillbilly
stakes were
murders.
much
That's
higher
the
for
stakes were pretty high for that.
yeah. The stakes were also really high for Terrence Stamp, and the stakes. I mean, I guess they weren't really that high for Guy Pearce, but Terrence Stamp, that was the crowning jewel, the crowning moment when she actually finds love and is okay with somebody remembering her for her glory days and not what she is now, but also loving her for what she is now. So it's nice. It's something different. I thoroughly enjoyed the soundtrack. I thoroughly enjoyed the way it was shot. I thoroughly enjoyed the writing. There were moments I was like, okay, you're veering off course just a little bit. But I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I'm going to give it a
Just to
4.3.
backtrack a little bit, I was trying to look for the.
Go ahead.
I mean, not that I would know who the hell the cast is from the musical, actually, because I'm not like a theater. I like theater, but I'm not a theater guy per se. But
Yeah.
the actors who portrayed Beatrice and Bob on that play were excellent, and they really, I think they explored that relationship a little bit deeper on the stage, actually, in that musical than they did on this film.
Yeah, so you saw
Pretty
it in
sure it was quite a while ago. I think
2011.
I saw it when it came out.
It was 2011. Will Swenson, Nick Adams, C. David Johnson, Nathan Lee Graham.
Oops.
Well, now we can't even show this episode. Not a ton of people
Yeah,
I
I couldn't tell you who
know.
people were, but they were good. But they, like I said, they expanded upon that relationship on the play. And I would have, instead of 8 different homophobe bar scenes, I would have rather that, relationship be explored and expounded upon between Beatrice and Bob. Uh, they made their
Yeah.
point, but I would have liked that. I would have liked uh, maybe some resolution to the relationship of um, um, the crazy kid and Beatrice. That would have been nice because
Right.
that was no resolution to that. Really, it was what it was. Um, yeah, I feel
I
like
could see
that
that.
could have
I could see
used
that.
a little bit more exploration. Um,
I just wanted. I guess I wanted, and I know, more of the Bernadette story. I wanted more of that. I wanted much more of it. I wanted much more. I wanted much less of Hugo Weaving's sort of hacky story, and I wanted much more of the other two. I wanted much more of everybody. I just think the setting off and going. I love that in a road movie because that makes it a total road movie. Um, Yeah, like I said, 4.3. I think it was very, very, very good. I can highly recommend this movie to people. See it. I
Yeah,
mean, this was my second time seeing it. I mean, I remember seeing it in high school and loving it then, and my appreciation for it has only grown.
this was my first go at it
So,
on screen. Like I said, I saw it on the stage play in 2011. I also had it very much confused with Tu
mm-hmm,
Wong Fu. But I wasn't
mm-hmm,
disappointed. I would give it a solid 4.2, only because I think the meandering did kind of bug me a little bit because it made it pretty obvious that you were
mm-hmm.
just searching for the glory shots, a la Dead Man. You know, like a lot of those big widescreen, you know, shots.
Well,
Right.
Dead Man came
But
out
like
later.
same point is what I'm saying. Like they really wanted those
Mm.
fucking, you know, we're gonna get our bang for our buck with these cameras and this desert and this nature shit. You know.
Okay. What'd you give To Wong Fu?
Funny enough, I would probably keep it around the same. I'll give Tu Wong Fu like a 4.2, 4.3. Yeah, I would
And you're
recommend Tu Wong Fu. I
recommending?
think it was pretty solid. Like I said, we're both not of the community. From certain things that I've read, I think both of these movies were relatively appreciated by the queer community, drag community specifically. I think that's something
Yeah.
that people kind of fuck with. But Tu Wong Fu really skated the line of caricature. My biggest worry for Tu Wong Fu were Wesley Snipes. That was my biggest worry, really. Because Patrick Swayze playing
Yeah.
a white drag queen, nobody's really going to hiccup at that too much. But when
Patrick Swayze is
you
also a fine actor. You don't want any hammy.
don't want
You
to
don't want any
hammy
hammy
blammy, but you
blammy
don't have
from.
the added pressure of being a black man in a dress, like Wesley Snipes, which comes with its own load of baggage, you know, and stereotypes and tropes and windows. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
John Leguizamo, that's kind of his
Sure.
bag, so I don't think anybody really thought twice about it. And like we alluded to, I think in another conversation before, Latinos don't really get that kind of uh, baggage put on them like
No.
black male
No.
actors would. You know, uh, yeah, they kind of can get
I agree
away
with that.
with skating that line of gender fluidity or whatever the case may be. So yeah, Wesley
I
Snipes, I
100%
think,
agree with that.
played it very well, and it wasn't a caricature. And I think he probably just honed in on some, you know, uh, women relatives and honed in on that and some mannerisms that he grew up around and stuff, and he paid it more homage to some women of his family rather than doing a Shanae from Martin. You know,
I also like
Shanae
Shanae.
exists.
Shanae exists. Yeah.
Know a lot of people
I
that
know a few
really love
Shanaes.
and hate that character. That person exists. I
Yeah.
that person. That's a real person.
Yeah, it does.
No, Martin
Yeah,
didn't
it
just like
does. Yeah, they do.
I get it. I get the hiccups and I get the qualms with it also. But that person exists. Same shit with fucking Tyler Perry and
Yeah.
Medea. That person exists.
I mean, yeah, that person for me was a guy named Paul in the projects by
Mm-hmm.
Cooper over here.
Mm-hmm.
He was Shanae, and like 100% Shanae, and to a point
Yeah,
where
I believe
people
it.
called him Shanae. So it exists. It's real. It should be a celebrated character. I think Martin took it from people he knew growing up, and I don't think there's anything wrong with going to that level if if you do it the same every time. See, Martin
Consistent.
always did Shanae that's consistent. I mean, he's one of the best comedic actors of all time.
There's a difference between making a character that is a commentary on women, because he was playing a woman. He wasn't playing a drag queen. Like people are Tu Wong Fu and Priscilla, right? So there's a difference there. There's a difference between making a caricature of women and making a caricature of a specific character who is a woman.
Yeah.
There's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
I think
I agree with that.
I was very happy to watch these movies. It was man, I had a cool time.
Yeah. So I think next week, Flawless with De Niro and
What
Hoffman.
Do you think? We're gonna end it, but what do you think about a recast? I don't know who, but I would prefer it to be actual drag queens next time around.
Yeah, I guess I couldn't recast actual drag queens because I don't know that community like that. I don't know.
If you were to keep it the same, and I'm talking about both movies, but for Priscilla, if we wanted to keep it the same, like caliber, where it's like
style,
it's more of a oh shit these actors. I guess you would do for Hugo. You could do Cillian Murphy. For Guy Pearce, you need a hype person. You could do who's a hype crazy white boy. For Guy Pearce, hype crazy white boy. He's annoying enough, even though he's got canceled, he's got his issues. But the kid that played the Flash in the movie, The Flash.
I don't know.
His name is Ezra Miller. I would do Ezra Miller for that. Okay. And then only because I'm looking at his face right now, and I was like, huh, he could probably pull that off. For Bernadette, let's do Michael Shannon. That's like a really serious actor you would not expect that from, but they still have that elder statesman. Out of the three of them, they could do the elder statesman role. Or John Malkovich.
For Bernadette,
but that would be way up there in age. That's a big age difference.
Yeah, for Bernadette, I'm gonna do McConaughey.
Right.
For Hugo, I'm gonna do Sean Penn. And for Guy Pearce's character, it's got to be something younger. I'm gonna do Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Not annoying enough. Is annoying. Is annoying. Hold on now. Definitely an annoying person, but I don't.
Very annoying.
I would do for Wesley Snipes, Gerard Carmichael. I would do for Patrick Swayze, Zac Efron. And I would do for who's a Latin actor for John Leguizamo?
You could make it Rami Malek
for John Leguizamo. No, Rami Malek. I mean, I'm sure he could pull it off, but you need like an actual bonkers off the wall type of cat, which is really hard to do because John Leguizamo is definitely a one of one. A Latin actor. I don't think I know any Latin actors.
Fluffy.
Shut up, Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I. Oh.
What about Joey Diaz?
You don't watch
that
current SNL,
so funny.
Right? There's a guy right now, is a Latin guy.
No.
I think he's Cuban. He's really, really fucking good. This kid. What a fucking long cast. That's another cast. 2024. His name is Marcelo Hernandez. He's 26. I think he can pull that off. Yeah, he's got it. I think that guy's good. Or let's take out Latin actor and put in another SNL actor. Let's change the race. Bowen Yang. Let's put an Asian guy instead of a Latin guy. I like Bowen Yang. I do.
Okay. I don't know who that is. I don't know who the other guy is. I don't like SNL. I don't think it's funny. It hasn't been funny in like 20 years.
No. What's your recast for 214? Oh, that's the one for Priscilla. Tom Hardy.
Everybody.
And Hugo's role. Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
That'd be super dark.
Yeah, that would be good. Do you remember Me, Myself, and Irene?
Yeah.
With Jim Carrey? The little black guy.
Jeez,
The small
what are you
black
saying
guy.
by small?
I mean, not tall. You know who I mean. And I know what you typed in. I know what you wrote.
You said he's small?
Yeah, Tony
the actual
something or other.
dwarf actor. Yeah, Tony Cox. Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah. Tony Cox. I'd want him to do something in it. Yeah, I'm making a choice. For John Leguizamo's character
in the downtown Brooklyn the other day.
He's got a weird face.
What are you talking about?
Nah, he's got a little weird face going on over there. It's like long but like big. Yeah, it's like if you punched Peter Dinklage in the face, your hand would break. Yeah,
and it sounds like a jerk move, but smaller than he looks on screen. He's actually smaller. I'm not trying to be a dick, man. I'm really not. He looks kind of like on the builter side. You know what I'm saying? On TV, he kind of looks a little stocky.
For Patrick Swayze's character, I'm going to go Adam Driver. Sure. And for John Leguizamo's character,
yeah, it's rough, man.
Not easy. Are you talking about something? No, I can't make Edward James Olmos drink.
No, what's the Mexican comedian or the Honduran comedian that got canceled? Remember for stealing jokes?
Yeah. No, George Lopez. Let's make it George Lopez. So you make it
it's an old cat. Well, except for Adam Driver, I guess.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to take Adam Driver out, and I'm going to make it an all old cast of people who are on the fringes of Hollywood. And I'm going to make Michael Richards Patrick Swayze.
So now, if you're doing that, I'm going to do for old Tu Wong Fu. I'm going to do Martin Short for Patrick Swayze. Actually, no, Martin Short for John Leguizamo. That's a 1-to-1 comparison right there. And then you would do Steve Martin for Patrick Swayze.
You're just gonna make Three Amigos. You're gonna make.
You will want to do amigos. You will want to do amigos and drag, and you will love it. There will be no Wong Fu.
Bye.
Amigos in drag.
Bye. Bye.
Chevy Chase. Nice.
Yeah. All this movie reviews. We'll fix it in post. Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman, De Niro next week, flawless. Yeah. Bye. After that.